Long day, but I promise to entertain. So we are the Sharknadoes. I am Karan, Abhishek, Saurabh, and Apurva. And we are very excited to present our product. But before we go there, let's see what problems what's the challenge that we are facing.
So we looked at probably not the most exciting of problems, but we looked at cardboard packaging during transportation. And currently that's a $34 billion industry, and that's projected to become much bigger in the next few years as online retailers expand and they become larger and new players come into the market. So these were some of the things that we thought were some shortcomings of cardboard packaging. Though that is the best solution that we had, we felt that there could be things that we can improve on this. And one thing that we think is cardboard packaging is inefficient because it needs a lot. They come in standard sizes, and then not all parcels that they're transporting are of the same size, so they need to have a lot of packing materials inside. And the packing materials can be styrofoam, plastic, paper, or bubble wrap. And that creates a lot of waste. And also the cardboard itself is heavy, and when you're transporting large amount of materials, any small increase in weight corresponds to cost increase for the marketers and also the transporters. And the environmental impact that we looked at was also one of the reasons that it has a higher environmental impact is because of the extra packing material, which is plastics or styrofoam. And also, not everyone recycles cardboard. So if it ends up in landfill, it decomposes anaerobically and releases methane. And methane is a 20 times worse greenhouse gas compared to carbon dioxide. So that is also a really big problem. And this last one is a personal pet peeve of mine. That is, when I receive any package, it's a big pain to get rid of the cardboard box. It's lying around somewhere in the corner of my house, and then it's a big mess. So this was something that we wanted to address in this product also.
Right, so these are the problems. I guess a lot of us know about it. We've experienced where to put those cardboard boxes. I mean, they're useful for a day, but then what? So let me introduce you to the air box. What are we doing? It's simple. We're using Dow's, the polyethylene bags from Dow's. And what are we doing? We are repurposing them. We are using them in the packaging industry. It's simple. The concept is extremely simple. You put an object. Amazon uses shipping. Every company uses shipping. You put an object inside the bag, and then you blow air into it. So it's simple. This is the object. We'll pass around a prototype. He'll pass around it. This is the object. This is the bag when there's no air in it. You place the object here, and then you put in air inside. You inflate the bag, and then it covers the object, and you have your pack. It's as simple as that. There is no box. That is our tagline. There is no box. So, let me talk about the shells. The outer part of the product will be a hard line shell that will be puncture resistant, while the inner part will be a softer material that will conform to the size and the shape of the product that's inside. So if it's a phone package, it will probably be a rectangular shape inside. If it's a ball, then it will just become a circle. It'll be because of the weaker plastic that is inside.
And the advantages that we see from this particular product that we have come up with is that it's 40% lighter. And this 40% number is taking into account only the amount of cardboard that is there. It's not taking into account any of the packing material that's also included. So if you include that, that is considerably a larger number. And also with this, there is no need of additional packing material. So, and once you receive a package and you remove it and you deflate this, then it doesn't take up any storage space. You don't have to dedicate a house in your room where you just store old cardboard boxes. And an advantage of this is that it's made from a single source polyethylene, and that is basically the same kind of material as any of the plastic covers that you get in any supermarket. So they have receptacles outside Walmart or any of the big retailers where you can throw all your bags and it gets recycled. And another thing that we were thinking of was to try and get the users to be incentivized to return them. So like having receptacles at certain locations where they can return the bags and get like points of it or something like that. And the other thing that we wanted to point out here is that weight does not come with zero carbon footprint. There's a carbon footprint for every pound transported every mile in the US domestically is 0.01 grams of carbon dioxide. So any small decrease in weight in transported products corresponds to a huge decrease in the carbon footprint, because last year USPS, just USPS, transported close to 703 million parcels in the US itself. So this is not a small problem. This is a huge problem that we are trying to achieve.
Right, so whom are we selling these products to? We are selling this to Amazon, we are selling it to Zappos, FedEx, USPS. How we imagine is that it's going to completely replace the cardboard industry. There is going to be no cardboard boxes. What you're going to get at your homes are going to be these plastic bubbles kind of things, just filled with air. That light, you know, there is no cardboard, easy disposal, easy recycling. Even better than recycling, there is reuse. You can exactly use these things. You know, when you get this thing, it's going to be full of air. I'm going to blow air into it soon that you can see that. It's going to be full of air, and then it's at your home. You just remove your product from the, you loosen the nozzle, the air comes out, your product is out there. What do you do with this bag? You send it, what do you do with your Walmart bags? There's a station outside Walmart where you can just recycle it, right? You just send it in a similar bin, you send it back to the company. There is some incentive on sending the thing back to the company, and the company can use the same thing again. And since it's puncture proof, it works as well as it worked in the first time. So let me just show you how it's going to look after I blow it in. Doesn't look that good, but it's going to blow up, and it's going to form all around the product that you keep inside. And of course, we need a little bit of modification. The inner layer should be weaker so that it conforms exactly to the shape inside. And the outer layer can be square. It's easy geometries, we can make that. So it's still stackable. So it's not like you're shipping weird packaging. It's still pretty cube on the outside.
And looking into these kind of advantages, the lower cost of transportation, recyclability, and also no need of using additional packing material, we think that companies that generally want to have huge volumes of shipments that they need. And there's also a need for companies to try and reduce shipping costs or try to offer free shipping. And this pressure increases as there are more number of players in the market, and the companies want to expand. So any advantage they get in the shipping industry, I think they will appreciate it, and they will want to try it out. So that's why we think that this large companies like Amazon, Zappos, or any other online retailer will be quite open to this kind of idea. And that's it, and we are open to questions.
So in the last slide, you have compared the price of 6 by 6 by 6 box with an air box. But don't you think a 6 by 6 by 6 box will have an object of at least that size, 5 by 5, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5? But an air box would not have after you inflate it, it won't have the same size or won't accommodate the same product.
No, the thing is, the way these boxes are designed, they're designed so that they're equivalent to a standard shipping container. Because even now, the shipping companies, the transportation companies, they're used to certain sizes. So they plan out their logistics based on what sizes the box are and how many boxes they can ship. So we can't go with a completely new non-standard size of boxes. Then that will throw away everything else that they already have. The infrastructure is already there. So one thing that we looked at when we were designing this was that generally there's it's like a rule of thumb that shippers follow, even in the USPS, or I think it was FedEx, right? In their website, they've given that they have to follow a minimum of 5 centimeter on all sides of the box, that they need to have padding to ship materials, especially those of sensitive nature. So we estimate that our product will have only that amount of cushion or an equivalent amount of cushion. So the boxes are not going to be non-standard size.
Just to add to that, just to make it clear that, it doesn't really matter what's inside. I mean, it could be a small thing or it could be a big thing. The inside layer of these packages would be much flexible. So I think your question was if there's a 5 by 5 by thing in 5 by 5 by 5 object inside a 6 by 6 by 6 object, that would easily fit into one of these bags. Won't be an issue. Yeah.
So what's the cardboard boxes are used to provide them, you put it close and tape it. But if your solution, like you have to have it layered, so what's your solution? Because not all boxes are small, can you consume it? Or what if you are not, like you're all
Great point. I missed that. So in fact, it's so much easier with this. Like with a cardboard box, what happens in Amazon is the robot picks up the product, it places on inside the correct size box, and then there's a person who probably tapes the box over. With this, you can achieve a great level of automation. You're right, we need something that puts the air inside the thing. So it's so simple. It's going to lay flat on the ground, then you put your product on it, and the shape is such that when you just put in the air inside the product, it's automatically going to take the shape of the product from the inside, and outside it just blows up into a box. Yeah.
customers are not like household or post offices are the bigger shipping companies. Your customers are the bigger shipping.
Yeah. Absolutely. We are not selling it to users. We are selling it to Amazon or Zappos. Yeah.
So some of the object is supposed to stay suspended inside by something like by pressure. How, if you have different sizes of objects, I feel like the plastic would have to be pretty high tolerance, I guess, for whatever size object you have. I mean, otherwise, it's going to shake around too much. If you're off by several inches either way, you know what I mean? Like there'd have to be pretty fine grained there.
Well, I think our product exactly addresses that concern. Like, it doesn't matter what size is inside. The inside plastic is so flexible that if it's a small thing, if it's a small ball, it'll just take the shape of the ball from the side. But if it's a big thing, then you can still accommodate the big thing. So because the inside part is flexible, I guess. Does that answer your query? Okay.
Is that going to increase quality? Is that, I mean, what costs my volume or weight for shipping? I guess I don't really know.
It's a combination of both volume and weight, but as long as we are holding volume constant, because we are trying to achieve the standard size boxes, and since we are trying to get the weight down, we estimate that the shipping cost will also go down. That's it for product.
I'd just like to add on that. We are filling up the space, we're filling up the void with air. We're not adding any other additional material. So air is the lightest thing that we have. So it's not going to add on any other extra weight than any other thing that is currently there in the market, like foam or bubble wrap or anything like that. Oh, we have a question from
One more question.
last question, lady.
I was just going to ask, like, what if the object back in sharp objects or sharp edges?
Right, great question. I guess that would be a real technical challenge to solve. That being said, these bags have been advertised by Dow to be puncture resistant in themselves because they probably also carry liquids. So there is a level of puncture resistance to them, but that being said, a sharp object might be a challenge to solve.